Hello and welcome back to the League of Legends Play for Fame 5-on-5 July Finals by Tt.esports, powered by 4net players. This is the finals of the finals between Acer and Gamehoppers. This is the first of a best of 3 round, and could certainly go on to third game. So, once again, I am joined by my co-caster, Spuddington. Hello.
Hello.
That was a pretty long introduction. I could have gone on for longer, that was the idea. But Shen and Malphite will be the first picks. And Shen, of course, with a global presence, we saw the last game was absolutely insane. It makes a lot of sense to ban out against Acer, who certainly like their mobility. Malphite, again, very strong. And, of course, they had problems against it when it's just, Malphite and then Orianna. Great synergy, and Malphite as a pick is also very strong. Can completely shut down a lane. Zyra and Arya are the next picks.
Yep. Zyra is just... Right now, she's so strong that she has this AoE ult that can ruin an entire team fight all on its own. It's huge damage, and it has huge potential to just completely ruin you. Also has her plants, which add to her in a variety of ways, in that she can take objectives faster, she can hold people in place longer, she can do more damage, and she's got more CC than an average kind of AP mid with as much damage as well on her normal abilities, that AoE route. And Ari is also a very mobile, very powerful pick for mid. She just does a lot of damage very fast, and very hard to pin down.
Yeah, definitely. And Yorick, and then Vladimir. Yorick makes sense as a ban because you can do a lot of interesting things with Yorick, where you can put him bottom and then have like an interesting lane top who can also roam with the jungler, more presence, who can sustain themselves, and also you can have like a better matchup, blah blah blah. So it makes sense to ban Yorick for a variety of reasons. Also the fact that he is extremely strong. A lot of picks coming out very very quickly. Don't even have time to talk about Vladimir. So okay. The first pick will be Karthus, followed by Nunu and Jax.
Yeah, Karthus global ultimate. That alone makes him worth picking, but his late game is amazing, and he just does a huge amount of damage. He can suicide into your team, and his passive will keep him alive for a few seconds, where he can just output huge damage on you, and there's nothing you can do about it. Jax and Nunu. Jax is a very strong top laner, not such a strong jungler, but I'm surprised they picked him without knowing anything about who the enemy's top are, so they must have something specific in mind, I'd have thought. Possibly the Zillion combination again, where they use Zillion to basically resurrect Jax, so he gets 2 lives in which to wreck your entire team. Nunu is also support or jungler, very strong in either role.
Yeah, definitely. And next pick will be Soraka, and then Ezreal. Ezreal, great synergy with Soraka basically because he has a battery healer, and then he can just output loads and loads of damage because he's got, infinite mana to spam his Q. And the Q does a ridiculous amount of damage if you can aim it properly, which, these players certainly can. And Soraka, again, with the global presence, having Soraka and Karthus on the team means you're exceptionally strong. Because in trades in the lane, you've basically got an extra 400, maybe 500 health in that trade, and then when it comes to team fights, then again, you have that on the entire team. So it's just more health overall in a team. And next pick will be Orianna from Selva.
That's an interesting pick. Seems to really like Orianna actually, but Orianna has quite a high amount of pressure in the early game, and mid game she has both high damage and high amounts of CC and high amounts of utility. Late game she falls off into being more of a kind of a utility caster rather than a burst caster, like Annie or whatever. Because she has that ultimate, though, she's never going to be irrelevant. She can pull people in. Again, ooh, yeah, this is definitely actually thinking about it looking like that Zillion composition again.
Lead up.
Yeah, Orianna having shield on Jax would be quite a lot of quite a strong initiation as well, because he could jump in, she could use the ultimate, pull them all in into Jax's counter-strike.
Yeah, it's not quite the Zillion, obviously doesn't have the ultimate, but it's a classic mobility punish composition, which, Acer just absolutely love. And of course you have the Blood Boil, it's just so much movement speed, and you have the distance, just mobility. Next couple of picks from Gamehoppers will be Rumble. Yep, that'll be popped in, along with Maokai. So, Rumble, extremely strong pick at the moment, as we all know, has been recently nerfed. I'm interested to see how he faces up, but he's always going to be that lane bully. And very interested seeing how the matchup versus Jax goes. And then the next pick, of course, will be Maokai, support jungler. And very good against double APs, just decreases the damage in an area, which is absolutely amazing.
Yeah, that mitigation is really great, and people actually kind of underestimate the amount of damage it does when you've soaked up a whole team fight's worth. Because Maokai's ultimate picks up damage as the fight goes on, and at the end it will sort of release it. But yeah, Maokai also has this kind of really strong ganking presence, and it could be that he's planning to set Rumble into the situation where Jax just has a completely untenable lane, where Maokai ganks so often and Jax just gets so far behind that Rumble just dominates him whenever he goes anywhere near. And Tristana pick up actually. That's interesting.
Tristana new.
Yeah, Tristana's a very uncommon pick because although she has a very strong early game, she has a lot of burst. There's an extremely strong late game, because she has enormous range and one of the strongest attack speed steroids in the game. Her mid game is honestly kind of shoddy. She just doesn't really do very much of anything in the mid game, and that means her team is really going to want to kind of just to hold on until she can get Infinity Edge and Phantom Dancer.
Yeah, and that's essentially what they're aiming for. But I do see the composition. Like Acer's composition is just pretty much classic Acer, and yeah, once again we will have the interesting composition from Gamehoppers. So any person you want to have a look at the runes and masteries in particular?
Possibly Rumble, I'm going to say.
Yeah, I would definitely agree with that. Rumble was one of the more interesting picks up here, and just taking a look at those runes. Okay, so 13 armor, 8.5 magic pen, 28 ability power at level 18, and then plus 15 flat ability power. Masteries will be 921, going straight down to Juggernaut, getting an extra movement speed, and yeah, reduced minion damage because he's fairly close range when he's going in, and of course going down to Arcane Knowledge for the magic penetration. It looks pretty standard to me of what a Rumble would be looking for.
Yeah, he's going to want to be doing as much damage as possible as early as possible, and he doesn't really have to worry too much about defense in the early game against Jax. So yeah, that kind of AP and magic set pen setup is pretty standard, all things considered.
Yeah, for sure. So for now, guys, we're going to switch over to a quick commercial break, and when you get back, it will be a not TM, that tag, man, that tag. Gamehoppers versus Acer for the first game of the finals of the best of 3. Stay tuned. Hello and welcome back for the Play for Fame 5-on-5 July final by Tt.esports League of Legends. I am once again joined by my co-cast as Worthington.
Greetings!
Nice,
Yes.
mixing up there.
Yep.
Very
Hello
good.
all day. Greetings now. It's the finals. You've got to be busting out your moves. Bust a move. Greetings.
Yeah, that would be really dodgy if that was a thing in real life. But it's fine. It's the internet. You can get away with pretty much anything as long as it's not Poco Loco Poco. That was it. Remember those days?
Yeah.
Loco, yeah. That streaming moment was one of the dodgiest in history.
No, we're not talking about this.
Look it up. No, wait, don't look it up.
Don't look it up.
So both teams are fanning out once again. It's that defensive formation, which is pretty standard for both teams. Defensive ward has gone down by Maokai, which makes a lot of sense because he's looking really to stack up at those rays. Go straight up to his rays, then go up to his blue, and that's the most optimal start. And he can go onto his wolves, but it makes a lot of sense to obviously put that ward there.
Yeah, it covers the jungle entrance, stops them from invading without being spotted, and really it just protects him from that kind of standard invasion. Although it looks like he's switching to do wolves, actually.
Interesting. Yeah, by going wolves, he can go wolves blue, and then go to the wraiths, and then he can go to wolves again, and then he can go to red. So it's a pretty standard route for most support junglers, and obviously won't cripple them at all because, well, it's just slightly more efficient to go for wraiths, but not by much. And it's actually better for his lanes because he will usually reach blue at around 1 minute 58, respawning of course at 1 minute 55. So yeah, that's a couple of seconds where your top laner has to stay help and will lose out on like maybe an extra creep. And if your enemy laner at top gets level 2 over you, then it's usually bad news because well, the top lane usually gets a lot of power level 2. Interesting enough, Broto will not be smiting this because obviously Rumble gave him so much help.
It looks like Cookie Style won't be doing that either.
Interesting.
Yeah, both of them are looking either for a very fast jungle clear, or they're looking for an invasion to steal some of the other guys' jungle. Because if you have your smite up, that allows you a lot more flexibility to just run into the enemy jungle, steal their stuff, and then walk out very quickly, because it minimises the amount of time you're in danger for.
Yeah, and not only that, you can go straight onto your red buff and then get it immediately. That will get you, Proto being very paranoid, thinking that he's going to be invaded, and Pakistan will be picking up their red buff. That's what I was expecting. Straight onto red buff, will have the smite, and he's got level 3 exceptionally fast, and top lane may only have level 1, maybe 2 at best, especially bottom lane. Maokai just kind of walking around in circles. We'll be taking those races beforehand, and then we'll be moving on to that red buff. So, interesting start. But Pakistan is looking for that gank onto Elmopo at top. And
he's been
tasers,
spotted.
he has been spotted by that ward, so nothing really going to happen. He's going to go ahead and recall, which is very interesting considering it's just only on. He has an extra pot there.
The thing about recalling, if you do it from that bush, is that it makes.
Meanwhile, bottom Flumas has been caught. Mr. Riley's taking it down. He can only really support with his Qs. Fluma's looking for the bananas, and Sans goes down, so you can't really look for the follow-up. Roto coming in from the side as well, but will not actually go and commit with that one since there's so many creeps. Bukistar looking to do some ganking on top, but Rumble just being a bit too far back. Kind of interesting he actually went for that anyway, considering, well, Rumble threw a taser in there. But
yeah, but the thing is, if he's potentially recalling in there, that causes.
And Lolpro actually trading off with Mr. Rallis, who will surely fall from the ignite. That'll be the first blood. That was interesting. I'm not really sure why he decided to trade, but okay.
I wouldn't be able to tell you honestly. I guess because he figured Nunu could help him with his massive amount of health, I guess, compared to the others, but he doesn't really have that right now. Like he doesn't have much presence without mana, which he doesn't have. And obviously Lolpro couldn't do anything because he had so little health that Mr. Rallis almost burst him down instantly. Yeah. But anyway, that pressure actually on Rumble up top has enabled Jax to honestly keep up with him on farm. In fact, get ahead of him on farm because Rumble's auto attack animation sucks. And yeah, that actually is the best start that he can really want apart from an actual kill.
Meanwhile, mid Pakistan, no.
Yeah, and it looks like Broto is probably going to try and correct that, so he's going to gank Jax almost as soon as he can.
Yeah, Jax.
Actually,
Yeah, it's actually moving from the interesting bit, obviously, to Ward. We'll be seeing by Broto. I wouldn't be surprised if Rumble goes down. There's the Arcane Smash, looking for the follow-up, and will follow with the Twisted Advance. El Mupo, Ward jumps to Ward, he immediately just put down anyway. El Mupo looking to deal some damage, and flashes over. Will not actually have time to get the Leap Strike up. He didn't think that he had the time to really do so. And meanwhile, bottom, a kill was put down. Who died?
I think it was Nunu that died.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I think Soraka picked that one up actually.
Yeah, bananas of death. But,
good guy's fault.
That's a bad start for Tristana because, like we say, Tristana has a strong early game, and if she's not getting a good start now, there's going to be a long period in which she isn't really very relevant. Yes, at level 6 she'll have probably her strongest period.
Oh, 760 jumping onto El Mupo, and then Pakistan not able to follow up because Flash did go down by El Mupo, but well, that's a flash down. It's basically an opportunity for Lee Sin to do some damage later on.
Yeah, really, it looks like they're very determinedly trying to keep Jax in this game and keep him as farmed and fed as they possibly can. It looks, because they keep ganking, and he's playing quite cautiously, and they really don't seem to want to risk anything. Although Maokai
looking to is very close to that bush. Arcane Smash goes down, knocking him slightly away, but Leaf Strike is just so good as like a counter initiator. You need all the minions really to be up against the enemy minions, and that's really what Maokai was waiting for, because he was waiting there for a long time despite him being really easily gankable. That's the reason why he wasn't, because he couldn't afford for Jax to be able to Leap Strike away, but it was at kind of chance or never, because he was almost about to touch into the brush where he got vision, so it was basically dead or never.
Yeah, interesting thing actually about the Ezreal versus Tristana matchup at bottom, especially with Nunu as well. Ezreal has an attack speed debuff, and if the way...
jumping onto Lolpo with Arcane Shift, and will not be able to do that. Counter initiate from Nunu, very nice, and along with the rocket jump, Ignite has been popped. That being said, yes, they went out behind in that trade, but Lolpro has his Ignite up, basically. So when he comes back into lane, he's going to be same health, will have got an extra item, and then he has the Ignite, which is pretty significant when you're laying against a Soraka. So they could actually catch him off guard, and that's the problem. When you use an Ignite, and you don't get a kill with it, and your enemy doesn't blow summoners, that is always the thing you have to fear.
Yeah, it's also the fact that Tristan is going to be hitting level 6 very soon. That's when he's really going to want to keep his Ignite for. He's really going to want to burst him down around then. And he will have the tools to do it. He's got... I don't know how much magic damage is on that. Yeah, 300 extra damage basically on his ultimate. And that's really significant.
Yeah,
but at the moment he's just gonna farm. I guess he hasn't reached... No, he has reached 6 now, but it looks like Ezreal wants to go back, but maybe not. No, he's just gonna try and force it into the tower, prevent them from freezing the lane.
Yeah, it's always that really awkward sort of situation where it's not quite at the turret, but it's further enough where, as an AD carry, you can farm, but you really can't do anything about it as the enemy AD carry, and then you just had to sit there, as you said, and just freeze it, which really sucks. But Broso just waiting in the bush. He's looking for something to happen. Dive straight onto Lolpro along with that Twisted Advance. Ultimate goes down from Rec Room as well. Not going to be enough, and the health pot as well. Double health pot pop, and El Mupo meanwhile top will slay 760, and that was two-pronged sword basically, well, two-pronged
that Requiem
weapon
basically
thing.
Yeah,
yes, forgotten the name of it, and
extremely well timed in that it helped 2 ganks
wait
at
a
once.
minute. On my screen, Drake is not there, but they're hitting it.
I have exactly the same bug. That's bizarre.
What? That is crazy.
Well, the message came up as per normal.
Yeah. What? That was
very strange indeed.
That was weird. Okay, maybe when it respawned it would be okay, but what?
Yeah.
With that, the only reason I can fathom is because Maokai scouted it with his sapling very early on, and then when it spawned, I guess it didn't update.
Yeah.
But even so, that's like what? Okay. Well, okay, be like that game.
Yeah, I really wouldn't be able to quantify why that would have happened, but it certainly did. Don't know if that happened on the cameraman screen though. Probably. That happened to us, yeah. It yeah, best online technical. It's yeah, it's nothing serious, of course, but it could mess with us if it comes up again and we end up with not being able to tell if they're going for dragon or if they're just sort of de-warding it. But yeah. And right now it looks like it's just mid lane is just a farm fest at the moment. Oriana is 102 CS to Carthus 93, which is an impressive task actually out farming him. But it looks like it's because at the moment Filavr has a blue buff and Carthus doesn't.
Yeah, definitely. And once again, Lee Sin looking to apply some pressure on the top lane. As you said, they're looking to get that Jax into a strong position. He's trying to bait out Moppo, basically, has silenced himself with the passive, chasing after with Pocky style. Dragon's Rage goes down, one more auto attack, and Equalizer will not really deal enough damage to output any meaningful hurt. But Celevar will be pushing down mid, and Maokai looking to reclaim something at top. But of course, it is a support jungler. You have no damage as a support jungler. You have a bit early on, and then it's just like irrelevant for the most part. It's like maybe 20% of someone's health if you're lucky. And this can be said for every one of Ace's games. It's like they're trying to reach the stage in which they can roam and group up and become that threat, which every team really can't contend with because they're so good at it, they're so well oiled. And they're trying to reach that point. But the counterplay to it, of course, which Gamehoppers recognised, is to shut them down early and sustain the advantage. That's kind of what you saw with the last game with Drub. It's like, okay, they got the advantage, but then Acer just, like, crippled them. So they couldn't actually get to the stage they wanted to. And then Acer pulled some hero play, which put them back into contention. So, yeah, that's counterplay, but it can be counterplayed.
Yeah.
Like
That's the... and Ezreal, meanwhile, is just trolling this Tristana.
What's a recall? No.
Yes, 3 times now I think she stopped, and it's taken so long that now she really can't afford to miss this creep wave. And that's putting her in a seriously dangerous position. Like, Mr. Alice could very easily... Yeah, Arcane Shift.
Yeah, here it is. An Arcane Shift into Q, Mystic Shot. Oh, Requiem. Oh, impending doom, and you just have to stand there and take it. It is a depressing sight.
Yeah.
Man.
Clearly, Lolpro there just didn't notice, like, or forgot or something. And, you know, you can understand
760
that,
jumping
really.
on the Elmopo once again, counter-strike damage, but it's really not enough. When you've been double tasered, what can you do? It's just...
Well, it came off roughly even. And Rumble does actually fall off somewhat later game. His damage is high if you build glass cannon, but he cannot afford to do that. He will just melt if you do that. And yeah, he's paranoid about ganks right now. He's definitely suspicious. Yeah. There we go. Maokai Sapling checks it out for him.
Remote vision. But yeah, as you were saying, with Rumble, he's got sustained damage. If he was like a straight up nuker and he was melee, it wouldn't be too bad. And actually, Sylvana he's okay. But because it's straight up damage, it would be okay. But because he's sustained, he needs to stay in because it's sustained damage. And he can't build glass cannon, as you said. So if he was like, trying to think of a melee range burst character like Fizz. If he was Fizz, he could build glass cannon because it's burst. He's not really sustained damage. Like, he's got a bit of sustained damage, he's got quite a bit, but a lot of it is burst. So it works out in his favour, whereas, yeah, Rumble really can't afford to. But again, the items will allow him to be tanky, such as, well, he's actually got a Darn Shield, and like a Rylai's really help his utility aspect as well, which is really, really nice.
Yeah, that's really the good thing about it. But, I've got to say, like, late game compared to Jax, yeah, his ult is pretty good.
Actually, 760 might be picking up the kill here. Continuous slow equalizer goes down. He is sitting in, a leaf strike goes down, closing the gap and removing himself from that ultimate. Honestly, if Rumble had positioned that ultimate a bit differently, where he would be like him in the middle, where basically Jax has less time to escape, less time to go after him for more damage, but if he's looking for the straight out trade, then 760 would fall. He would have gotten the kill. But it was basically, when you're using an ultimate as Rumble, you're looking at like different circumstances, and you basically use the wrong type of ultimate.
Yeah, it's a very unusual weapon.
Yeah.
You have to kind of calculate the angles that you think the enemy is going to be moving at, and that makes it just really
Or
awkward.
four-man gank on mid. War of Pain goes down into the Twisted Advance and the Maelstrom. Yeah, Broto picking that one up. And honestly, SWAT junglers don't usually need that, but looks like they will be heading towards quite literally Invisible Dragon.
Yeah.
Oh, it's respawned.
No, it's spawned. Yeah, they just had a very good
job.
timer on it.
Yeah.
I was going to panic there for a second.
Yeah.
Although it is going to reset. For whatever reason,
Nice.
best known to itself.
And one of the funny things is actually Ace are looking for the initiate, perhaps. Snowball goes to the face. And they are just kind of zoning him out. They have a lot of poke from Gamehoppers, and Rumble has also come down into the fray. Along with 760, so Celeber has been picked, and we start looking for the steal, and he gets it! And he will knock, well, okay, knocks Proto over the wall. Ultimate goes down by Mesmeralda, picking that one up, and kill for a Drake is not bad at all. Yes, there was the pick up onto Celeber, but you can look at that as a different situation, and that was pretty sweet from Pokestyle.
That was a very nice ward jump over the wall to get into smite range, and yeah, he'll be very happy with that, how that went, actually. Now Rumble's going to be heading back up top along with Jax, and they'll sort of all be resetting back to their lane now that the big thing of the du jour has disappeared. Yeah.
Nobody will get. Broto looking for a gank on the bottom, however. 3 versus 2 under turret is going to fall very soon. Super is going to walk into the brush. Hello, here's a tree. Flash goes down, rocket jump as well, and yeah. It's very difficult with Maokai. Sometimes you never know if it's part of the scenery or not, and tactical advantage, you see.
Yeah, yes, I agree.
Good if one of his hidden passives was like you could remove the health bar and like everything, so it looked like part of the terrain. That'd be great.
Just blend in with the background.
Yeah, would be the best thing.
They'd have to redo him for the art styles.
Yeah, or maybe it only triggers when he's like near a tree line. Oh, that would be amazing.
Only in Twisted Tree Line.
Yeah, exactly, which no one plays. Ooh,
yeah,
so we're going, and ultimate goes down as well with the shockwave ignite as well. Come auto attacks and just another command attack and to command protect. I really like how smooth you can be with just tagging Celeber with that ultimate from Ezreal. Not quite enough damage. Honestly, less damage than I was expecting, but 130 magic resist. That's probably why. Wow. Yeah.
We're on Orianna.
On Aurea, yeah, she put her ball onto
Chalice
herself.
And a Negatron. And also when the ball is on her, she has a bit extra as well, like from the, 10 extra. Not huge, but, always adds up. And that's a lot of magic resist. I guess she just wants to avoid that situation that Karthus walls you and you're sort of left.
Yeah, meanwhile, Tom
trying to walk
jumping
away.
onto Almopo, and the great flash, he timed that perfectly. He knew Lee Sin was going to kick him back into position so he couldn't escape, and he basically flashed behind it, so Lee Sin kicked him in the direction he wanted to go. That was clever, good timing, and just good game mechanics from Almopo. It was good.
Yeah, that's sign of a good player is really when when you can kind of read what the opponent is going to do.
Yeah. Yeah, when it gets into like Halo play, a lot of it is prediction, and it's quite a very difficult skill to apply. And you can do it in like lower elo, but if your mechanical skill doesn't match your prediction skills, then it's kind of irrelevant. It's one of those things, it's like the icing on the cake basically. It's just that extra thing which will put you ahead of your opposition, and it's nice to see when it happens.
Yeah, El Mupo is very high up in solo queue, isn't he? I don't know exactly what he is, something like 2,600 elo?
Something high, yeah.
Yeah, it's
yeah.
That's impressive even among people that earn money playing this game. But
Yeah, I
obviously
know
solo
LoL
queue
Pro-
does not necessarily translate.
Yeah, and that's like a different argument entirely. And LoL Pro is in fact like 2.7k. Yeah, 7.7k elo, the highest in the elos. But he is like number 4 on the ladder at the moment in solo queue, and it's kind of an interesting point to bring up at some point if there's a low on the act. But at the moment they are sieging mid. Broto putting out the sapling, and yeah, not distance, not quite connecting. However, Acer, they have reached that stage where they are just like going around and roaming, and they are split pushing all over the map. 760 pushing top, and Lolpro pushing bottom, but good counter initiate with the ultimate from Mr. Rise, and he's level 11, so he can insta-give that wave. Did Orianna get that? Yes, she did. Okay, she got blue. Able to steal that off them, and Jax will be backing off very low health, and Elmopo will definitely mop that one up if he stays in that region.
Yeah, Gamehoppers actually ended up leaving that blue buff up slightly. Just one little thing, which is unfortunate for them because they're actually now not going to be absolutely certain of the timer on it. which is unfortunate when you want to be predicting when the blue buff comes up so that you can steal it. But yeah. Yeah. And at the moment, there's not a huge amount happening, but I'm wondering when Dragon will come up. I feel like it must be very soon, and the enemies, the enemies, they are all enemies with each other, that both teams are going to be trying to form up for it. That's right about now, I think. I mean, let me just look. 15:41, so 6 minutes added to that would be... Yeah, 21. Oh, okay, so another minute.
1 minute.
Yeah. Alright, so this is definitely the time when they're going to start trying to get the side lanes pushed out. They're going to go back for shop. They're going to start clearing the wards. They're going to be forming up, basically. Both teams really want this.
Yeah, like Acer can't let it slide, but at the same time, Gamehoppers don't want to because, well, if they let the Drake fall, then they've just given Acer extra advantage, which will draw them back into the game, which they don't want to let happen. Because basically, you're in the same position as we had the last game, where we had Drug versus Acer. They were behind, but then they made that hero play. And it's not got to the stage where they're that behind and they're forced into their base, and that's where Acer is still exceptionally strong. So they need to shut them down, and shutting down Acer is a very hard thing to do.
Yeah. You know, I'm going to guess actually that the reason Nunu is with Tristana in this case is that...
Oh, Broto has caught a Salva, and tasers have connected, but he will be flashing out of there and actually escaping. That was... he was exceptionally more tanky and than I expected, but, well, of course, when you have Rumble and Hawk on Karthus as your main DPS, and he's got that much magic resist, then I suppose that's what it does for you. Hawkeye style will also not be caught. High mobility, this is what it does to you. It's just so strong, because, yeah,
they can't really
get
afford
caught,
to do Dragon right now. That's their problem.
Oh, Selva, I didn't see you do that. That's fine.
What happened?
Popped his ultimate on creeps. Ultimate equalizer goes down, will be picked up anyway, so it's fine. No one will ever notice. Pucky style popping out the Dragon's Rage will be out of there. Ultimate goes down by Ezreal, and like Karthus ultimate, inevitable doom. Oh, he will survive!
No,
wow,
he was disrupted.
Yeah, what? Who disrupted him?
I don't know. I need to go back and look at that.
Rewind.
Right.
The Tristana ultimate! Amazing.
Oh, what a pro.
Oh, so good. Your rocket jumped in and then popped the ultimate. That was amazingly good. That was fantastic. Saved the life of Lee Sin. That was...
What a lifesaver. Firefighter Tristana.
Oh, wow.
Sometimes does undead mages with giant laser beams from the sky. But I don't think it's going to matter in this case particularly because they've still won that team fight and they are going to force out this dragon here. That's,
massive hit, and there's the initiation. A lot of damage going down. The Super is popping the ultimate as well, kind of out of position. Looks now taking a lot of damage. Surely Nunu to follow, and Lolpro and Selva just kind of waiting from behind, but not outputting any meaningful damage. And Selva potentially picked up Twisted Advance to counter initiate once again by Lolpro. Shockwave, but it's not enough, and that'll be a 4-for-1 trade, and probably a bottom push as well. Yeah, this is a classic example. This is how you shut Acer down. You get an advantage, you stick to it. You allow Acer to get back into it, then they stay ahead. But if you can stay ahead with your advantage, you're in a good position, and that's what they're allowing themselves to do. Even with an inhib down, you can't count Acer out. But it's not looking good, and that's a lot of poke just landing onto Lolpro's face at the moment.
Yeah, well, he was pretty much just tanking because he knew he wasn't really in a position of danger. They weren't going to dive in when the whole team was respawning. But he wasn't going to die either from just their poke. Yeah, might as well just stand and take it. Get the farm.
For sure. So, yeah, Pokestyle just going to go ahead to Farmer's Jungle again. Right now, I'm looking at Acer, and I'm looking at the team composition, and I'm looking at how they're doing over the board. What do you think? It's not really a question of whether they can come back, because they definitely can, but how are they going to do it if they are?
It's probably going to come down to one of those team fights again. Those ones where they just get just the right position, where where Nunu is blocking the way horribly, where Orianna gets 3 or 4 people with her ultimate, and that gets followed up on by Jax. All these different situations, but there's also the possibility they could get a pick, but I feel like that's less likely. all things considered, because they don't, apart from Jax, they don't really at the moment have the kind of burst damage to kill someone that they catch. Actually, it looks like Gamehoppers are going to be starting to hover around Baron.
This yeah, double-edged sword basically, because you look at Baron, and it's okay, you can push the advantage, it will put you further ahead, but at the same time it gives your opponent a chance to come back into the game, because they can potentially steal, they can potentially catch you with your pants down basically, and then attack you when you're weakest, when someone's been debuffed by the Baron. It's a perfect opportunity to strike, so they have to be very certain they want to go for this Baron. It's not one of those things where it's just like, okay, we'll go Baron because there's nothing else to do. Sometimes it's better just to leave it, which is what we saw a team before do. But whether they can actually push the other towers is another question. I don't think they really can. So Baron is their other chance, their last chance to. Yeah, go ahead.
Well, right now they do have an inhib down, of course. So with that bot lane pushing like that with the super minions, gonna force someone on Acer to go back sooner or later.
It also allows them to potentially get a pick. Super Rays will be out of there. Extreme speed from the Blood Boil. And have a snowball for your troubles. Hello, I'm Jax. Potentially initiate happening here. Equalizer goes down in the perfect position. Muppo coming in from the side. However, perfect ultimate with the shockwave. Under 4 people jumping back in. This is team fight. Can't initiate from Lolpo just picking up Broto as he goes in along with Lee Sin on the other team. Requiem goes down, looking to do some more damage. That chunked up a large portion of a lot of people's health. Just on a Wolf for Selva surviving very barely. Mr. Raleigh is still alive, one of the main damage dealers, along with sustained damage from El Muppo being on Rumble, and they will be sieging down this mid turret. That was a good team fight from Acer. It just wasn't good enough.
Yeah, like that Rumble ultimate was actually amazing. It caught 4 people in it in the initial damage, and forced them all to spread out. They took a lot of damage, and it really cut off a lot of their options. But in spite of that, they got into a position, again, where Lolpro could kind of kite around and output some damage. And he's starting to get to the point with Blood Boil on him where he's a serious damage threat. But he just isn't yet that dangerous. And with the Ezreal and the Karthus, the Rumble, all that AoE, all that magic damage, so much damage in that tight, confined area. That made it very difficult for them, and yeah, they lost that fight. But I think a bit of readjustment to their play right at the end actually could have turned that to the point where it was an equal trade.
Shirelles has been popped by Gamehoppers, jumping onto Pucky style perfect ultimate from Rumble once again. Counter initiate comes out from Lolpo with his ultimate. Rocket Jump goes down as well. He will be out of there, but that was a pick. Ultimate goes down, doing some damage, but really not doing all that much. Celeber does now have the death cap, got very good farm as well. Haven't commented on that, but I did see it before. But at the moment, that's the pick probably that they need to rush a Baron, and they do not have smite. They have no real ultimates that can turn it around apart from Super Rays, and well, he's a support doing the clever thing. It looks like, are they going to push mid or are they going to go for the Baron contest? Rumble doing the correct thing and zoning them out as the AP carried. This could be another pick on Ace's side. No! Flash goes down by 760. They have temporarily stopped them from taking Baron, however, Broto was tanking it, keeping it, stopping it from resetting essentially. Yeah, there is the Baron. They could potentially get a pick onto Acer, and if they do, that could spell the end of the game. Nice war lands on Lolpro and Celeber. They had to split. It was basically one or the other. And yeah, that was 2 picks. They've gotten the one onto Pokestar, who's now respawned. There's still a 4 versus 5. Lolpro potentially caught out here. Another rocket jump goes down. One goes down by Mr. Raleigh, forces the flash from Lolpro. Good lead. And Requiem goes down, looking to do some lifesteal. Not going to be enough. He realised the impending doom and tried to lifesteal, but what can you do when you haven't got a vamp?
Surrender vote.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was some pretty good play on Gamehoppers' part. That really good kind of early game advantages they took, and they held onto it. They scaled well as well. They played their team fights very well. They kept their they kept their AoE damage clumped. They really held together. They took advantage of the abilities they had available to them to the max basically, and yeah, they had a really good team composition too.
Yeah, definitely. So not sure we're going to jump into the next game, but we still need those invites. Look. There we go. I've been invited. Okay. Gonna wait for this lobby to fill up, which should be pretty short because both teams are definitely around because they just played.
Yeah, that's a bit of a giveaway as to whether they're there. It's always possible they could be taking a brief break for obvious reasons, but you never know. And stranger things have happened than a game of LoL starting almost immediately. But,
Yeah. True. Yeah, so anyway, guys, we're going to switch to a quick commercial break while this is slotting up, so we'll be back in a bit. Stay tuned.